Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Ami, your friendly rheumatologist, with another episode of On a Bridge MD, where we provide you hope driven by science. As always, if you are looking for a rheumatologist in Denver or Colorado, we are currently open and accepting new patients. So come on in and contact us at info@onabridgemd.com. Today, I have the pleasure to have with us Dr. Thornton, who is a PM&R specialist. So she works with chronic pain, and I think a lot of us can learn a lot of things from it. Dr. Ruth, I'm going to call you Dr. Ruth. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Dr. Ruth, please introduce yourself. Tell us why, where you are and why you chose PM&R, like rehab, to be a rehab specialist, and especially in chronic pain.
Okay, so thank you so much for having me. First of all, I'm really honored to be with you and your audience. So yes, I've been in medicine. I guess I graduated medical school back in 91, so I've been around a while. When I went into medical school, I thought I wanted to be a doctor from when I was 9. I thought I was going to be a pediatrician because my mom happens to be one. She's the first doctor in our family. And when I got to medical school on the peds rotation, it was not like outpatient. I found I did not like it. I did not like working with sick children. I love children, but it was hard on me. I didn't want to poke them. I didn't want to learn how to do a lumbar tap. I didn't want to do any of that to those little kids. So I said, well, what else can I find? I did an elective at the National Rehab Hospital in DC, and I loved it. I loved the fact that it was a multidisciplinary. It's baked into rehab to be multidisciplinary. You're working with a physical, occupational therapist, speech therapist. You care about the whole person, not just about an organ system or a body part. You want to know how they were in their community, home or work or whatever, what they were doing, and how to get them as independent as possible again. And it's very creative because, not necessarily everything works for everyone. So I just thought it was great. I still remember my first patient as a resident, just kind of, monitoring. She was an amputee, below-knee amputee. She was so devastated when she started in rehab. And then just a few weeks later, when she was able to walk with her prosthesis and how happy she was, it made me happy. And I thought, yep, this is it. This is what I want to do. So as far as pain goes, it's funny. A lot of outpatient rehab is managing pain. That's what you see. I am a general PM&R. I didn't do an extra fellowship. I should have. I could have grandfathered in for pain management. Little kids and everything. My mind wasn't there. But I noticed, because I love people. I do. I noticed though that I would have this kind of resentment when the people with chronic pain came in. I'll just be honest. I wasn't alone. I know a lot of doctors, they first of all, they assume chronic pain means they're coming for opioids, which is not necessarily what it means. But, they don't want to be bothered, But in my case, it wasn't that. I had to think, what is going on with me? And I realized I like to see people get well. I like to see people get better, and they're not getting better. So, and just my own journey as well. I met another PM&R. It turns out we both took our families across country to the Redwoods to camp, and I met her there. She lived in Brooklyn. I lived in Staten Island. But she told me how she wasn't practicing traditional medicine anymore. Her whole practice had changed, and it started with a food as medicine conference. And then from there, she's a functional medicine practitioner. I went to the Food as Medicine conference. I was blown away as well. We aren't taught that. I think medicine has changed some. Maybe they are teaching it more. But I know when I came along, we weren't talked to about the importance of nutrition. It just wasn't part of our what we learned. And we weren't taught. I mean, we know some now, but it seems like we're so medication and procedure oriented because those are the things that insurance covers. There's so many other things that are helpful, preventative, and I just don't feel they're emphasized enough. So anyway, as I learned more and I incorporated those things in my practice, I actually saw people getting better and people with chronic pain getting better. And that felt really good, so that's it.
That's really wonderful. I absolutely love this. So the podcast is really about hope driven by science. And, there's such a power in stories. Could you tell us the stories of one of your patients that where something happened and you're like, wow, this is what I want. I want to bring hope to patients with chronic pain. And you started like telling us about the first patient with the amputation below the knee that had a lot of pain, and then suddenly was super happy. Do you have another story like this where?
Yeah, I guess I do. They're not long stories, but I do have some. There was a woman in a nursing home, because that's my day job. I go to nursing homes. She had spinal stenosis. She was on several medications, including opioids, chronically. She could not be operated on just because of all of her medical conditions. She was morbidly obese and other things. And I tried different things. I tried gabapentin. Nothing really took her pain fully away. And then I found that she smoked. I didn't know that she smoked, And I was like, oh my goodness, you really should consider discontinuing. It took her a while. She didn't give them up right away. But I did come back. I guess I saw her probably a month later. And she had quit smoking and she had no more pain. And that was the first time she had no more pain, and she didn't even need the narcotics anymore. And that was amazing to me. And it's not that I knew that was going to happen. I'm just thinking in general, cigarettes they're not good. The nicotine, the tobacco, all that junk that's in there that you're putting in your body. But yeah, it made a difference. It really made a difference for her. And that was fun. Another guy, he was a garbage collector and had very, very bad pain in his knees. He was also overweight. And he was on a lot of oxycodone. Just for the audience, morphine, everything is compared to morphine. They call it morphine equivalents. And you don't want to be on over 90 milliequivalents of morphine in a day, like in a 24-hour period. The amount of oxy, because oxy is actually like twice the dose of morphine. Like you say, one morphine would be two oxy, is the way it works. He was on well over 90 already, because he was taking 40 in the morning, 20 in the afternoon, 40 at night. So, that's like 90 right there, but that's actually like 180, because it's double. So anyway, he was on way too much. But I mean, he's a big guy, and I get it. He didn't fall out, he didn't get sick, he didn't die. But he was asking me the first time I saw him, Doc, with my work, because it's very heavy work that he does, can you increase my dose? I said, oh my gosh, you're on too much already. I can't increase it. And so I gave him a diet, anti-inflammatory diet. I told him, you need, if you make these changes, that's going to help decrease inflammation. You want to make your body as anti-inflammatory as possible. And I gave him some exercises as well. And yes, his pain got much better. I never was able, just to be honest, full disclosure, he didn't let me take him off of his narcotics. I really wanted to bring him down, and we didn't get that far. But I worked with him for 5 months, and his pain was much, much better with just a change in diet.
This is amazing. I think this, the first story that you just told us about the person quitting smoking. So number one, in rheumatology, for example, if you smoke and you're taking hydroxychloroquine or Plaquenil, which is, the treatment that every single patient with lupus should have, we know that it doesn't work as much. So patients, like, one of the way that we can actually say, hey, the patient is a smoker, is if the Plaquenil doesn't work.
Yes.
Then we are like, hey, do you smoke? And if they smoke, you're like, well, basically, you're not allowing Plaquenil to work.
Right.
And so I wonder if that's one of the things that happened. The other thing is, we see that all of the time smoking is pro-inflammatory. It causes rheumatoid arthritis. It causes psoriatic arthritis, and it causes flares. So what really struck me in the story that you just mentioned, those two, the first one particularly with the smoker, is that she chose her. She one day decided, I'm going to choose me. Mm-hmm. And that is really what you were able to give her, which is like, hey, I'm here, I'm helping you, but like, how about you chose you? So that really struck me. I thought that was gorgeous. Mm-hmm. And this other patient, I'm blown away because I use anti-inflammatory diet. I call it the Mediterranean diet. Mm-hmm. And I actually love that. But we use that in rheumatoid arthritis and lupus and all of those inflammatory, pro-inflammatory disorder. I would not have thought that just for chronic pain it would work. And then you start thinking, like, how does this work? Mm-hmm. Is the pain inflammatory always?
Well, that's a good question. Yeah, that's a good question. But you know that they're saying that all of our chronic illnesses, things like, cancer is not necessarily a chronic illness, but cancer,
but it's inflammatory,
diabetes, heart disease, chronic pain are all based in inflammation. Yeah. So if we can, just have a better diet and also stress management, because stress is inflammatory. Mm-hmm. People don't realize when they get stressed out over whatever's going on, and then their pain gets really, really worse. Yeah. Well, the stress contributed to that. It's very connected. So it's important it's important to learn how to manage that and how to not get stressed out, learn how to relax, how to get your body to relax. There's so many things, and sugar is very inflammatory. And it's funny, when my kids were growing up, I wouldn't buy sodas on a regular basis, but I bought all this juice, not recognizing, oh my gosh, the juice is full of sugar. It wasn't doing any better. So, yeah,
that's a good point. Wow, this has been so good. Where can our auditors find you? Where can they find you in person if they want to work with you, or if there's anything else that you propose, so that if they want to learn more?
Sure. So my practice is solely an online practice, a telehealth practice. chronicpainrescue.com. If for people outside of California, I can be a coach. I also practice homeopathy. I did learn homeopathy, which is a whole different approach than the medicine. Basically, allopathic medicine, which is what our traditional medicine practices, it's always anti. So it's anti-diabetic, anti-hypertensive, anti-inflammatory. With the idea behind homeopathy is like treats like. So they actually take something that causes the symptoms that you have, they dilute it, very much dilute it, and then give that to you. And it's basically to help your body mount a response. You can think of it like a vaccine, because that's what a vaccine does. Your own body mounts a response. And I found some really good results with it. I know of a doctor actually who's got rheumatoid arthritis. You would think, looking at her hands, you would think she's in a lot of pain. She's not in any pain, and all she takes is her homeopathy bed. So, anyway, they can find me at chronicpainrescue.com. It is, if they live in California, because I'm in Long Beach, California, I am licensed as a medical doctor, so I can practice medicine a little more with people in that are based in California. But that's it. I do, in addition to seeing me as a client, I'm willing to meet with someone online, like a free phone consultation, if they'd like to see if they want to work with me. So.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's excellent. So we'll put all of this in the notes on the podcast. Well, Dr. Ruth, it's been such a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much. And we hope to see you again very soon and talk and go in deep dive in specific conditions, maybe in the future. And for the auditors, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening and being, and sharing the podcast with other people. If you have enjoyed the podcast, don't hesitate to share it with one of your friends or family members. And again, this is the podcast on @bridgemd.com. And you can come if you are in need of a rheumatologist. Have a wonderful day, everyone. See you next week. Bye-bye.